Assalamu alaikum everyone. How are you? Hope you all are fine. My name is Rimsha Azhar and welcome to my YouTube channel. Guys, today our topic is based on the famous novel by Thomas Hardy, Jude the Obscure. First of all, in this video we will talk about the introduction of the writer, Thomas Hardy, then setting of the novel, then we will discuss about the plot and summary of the novel, then characters, then themes and symbols of the novel. So let's start with the introduction of the writer Thomas Hardy. He was born on 2 June and 1840, died in 11 January 1928. He was an English novelist and poet who set much of his work in Wessex. His first literary endeavors were in verse, which he seemed to value more highly than prose. He began writing novels in 1860s when he was unable to get his poetry published, but he returned to verse later in life. Most of his poetry was published after 1898. Thomas Hardy is best known for his novels, all of which were published in the mid to late 19th century. His last novel, Test of the D'Urbervilles and Jude the Obscure, are generally considered his finest. These works challenge societal moods with their sympathetic portrayals of hardship of working class people. First of all, the name of the novel Jude the Obscure basically shows that Jude is someone who is not clearly expressed or easily understood. He is uncertain. The setting of the novel is in Wessex, England, but unlike Hardy's the Wessex novel does not have highly developed landscape as a background for the novel. In Jude the Obscure, Wessex is only a stage for tragic action. The description of everyday rural life is secondary to the tragic interplay of characters. Mary Green, Jude grows up here and is consistently returning to see his aunt when she is sick. Christminster, Jude's happiest time occurs at Christminster. He is thankful for this place and its possibilities. Melchester, where Sue is attending school and Jude moves to be near her and pursue his career as a clergyman. And Sheston, where Sue has opened a school and Jude travels to be with her. Then plot summary of the novel. First of all, Jude dreams of studying at the University of in Christminster, but his background as an orphan raised by his working class aunt leads him instead into a career as a stonemason. He is inspired by the ambition of the town schoolmaster Richard Phillotson, who left for Christminster when Jude was a child. However, Jude falls in love with a young woman named Arabella. She is tricked into marrying her and cannot leave his home village. When their marriage goes sour and Arabella moves to Australia, Jude resolves to go to Christminster at last. However, he finds that his attempts to enroll at university are met with little enthusiasm. Jude meets his cousin Sue Bridehead and tries not to fall in love with her. He arranges for her to work with Phillotson in order to keep her in Christminster, but is disappointed when he discovers that the two are engaged to be married. Once they marry, Jude is not surprised to find that Sue is not happy with her situation. She can no longer tolerate the relationship and leaves her husband to live with Jude. Both Jude and Sue get divorced, but Sue does not want to remarry. Arabella reveals to Jude that they have a son in Australia and Jude asks him to take him in. Sue and Jude serve as a parent to the little boy and have two children of their own. Jude falls ill and when he recovers he decides to return to Christminster with his family. They have trouble finding lodging because they are not married and Jude stays in an inn separate from Sue and children. At night Sue takes Jude's son out to look for a room and a little boy decides that they would be better off without so many children. In the morning Sue goes to Jude's room and eats breakfast with him. They return to the lodging house to find that Jude's son has hanged the other two children and himself. Feeling she has been punished by God for her relationship with Jude, Sue goes back to live with Phillotson and Jude is tricked again into living with Arabella again, so Jude dies soon after. So the characters of this story include Jude Fable, a young man from Mary Green who dreams to studying at Christminster but becomes a stonemason instead. Susanna Bridehead, Sue, Jude's cousin. She is unconventional in her beliefs and education but marries the schoolmaster Richard Phillotson. Arabella Dunn, Jude's first wife. She enjoys spending time in bars and in company of men. Aunt Drusilla, the relative who raised Jude. Richard Phillotson, the schoolmaster who first introduces Jude to the idea of studying at the university. He later marries Suze. Little Father Time, Little Jude. Jude and Arabella's son, raised in Australia by Arabella's parents. He is said to have a mind of an old man, though he is a young child. The theme of the novel. The theme of the novel first include marriage. It could be argued that the rejection of marriage is the central dedicated point of this novel. Hardy repeatedly emphasized that marriage involves making a commitment that many people are emotionally unequipped to fulfill. This statement comes from a narrator, but it is also expressed by Sue Jude Phillotson at various points in the novel. Whether the institution of the marriage can be saved is open to interpretation. Jude and Sue are clearly a good match for each other, so Jude wants to get married Sue. However, feels that marriage will poison the relationship. The narrator does not seem to favor either side. It is left up to readers to decide how the problems with marriage might be solved. Then education. Hardy highlights many kinds of education in the novel. Most obviously, we have Jude's desire to get a university degree and become an academic. However, Hardy also emphasizes that the importance of experiential education. Because Jude is unexperienced with women and with social situations more generally, he is especially susceptible to Arabella's seduction. In the novel, the level of traditional education one reaches is closely tied to the class system. And if someone from Jude's class wants to learn, they must teach themselves. Although the narrator seems to admire Jude's willingness to teach himself, he also points out the limits of autodidactism. Nothing that despite Jude's near constant studies, he cannot hope to compete on the university entrance exam against richer men who have hired tutors. Next is social class. In addition to his points about education, Hardy also criticizes the rigidity of social class more generally. Jude is limited in his career options because, as a working class man, he cannot hope to be promoted beyond a certain level, even in fields like a clergy that are supposed to open to all. However, Jude and Sue also benefit from their low social class in that their respective divorces and processed quickly and without inquiry, and they can get away with living together unmarried for quite some time. Even this is a mixed blessing. They are caught eventually, and the reason they were not caught sooner in that they are unimportant to the people around them. Then religion. As Jude the Obscure can be interpreted as a critical of the institution of marriage. Hardy is equally as possessed with the church. Throughout the relationship, Jude and Sue have many conversations concerning religion, the former being initially more devout than his intellectually curious cousin. At a diorama depicting dualism, the major character's feeling on religion crystallize. She wonders why Jerusalem rather than Rome or Athens is deemed important. Phillotson encounters that the city is important to English as a Christian people, and Jude is utterly absorbed by the work. So he also stands to agree with Sue. Later, Sue mentions a friend who was the most irreligious but also the most moral. Hardy points out these concepts are not mutually exclusive. Judy was sexually attracted towards Sue and drank alcohol many times. Then symbols of the novel. First is peg. Peg in the novel are symbol of sexuality. Arabella first gets Jude attention by throwing pig pennies at him. Throughout, she is associated with pigs. She feels a strong sexual attraction towards Jude Arabella, and Jude must kill Peg at one point in story, and Jude's unwillingness to deliver a slow and painful death to animal becomes the basic quarrel and separates them. Gain traps. Gain traps in the novel shows incarceration and thwarted aspiration. A so-called gin trap was used to catch rabbits. Both Sue and Jude are caught in the trap of their first marriage. Jude refers to sex as a gin that traps a man into an unhappy marriage. Samson and Delilah. There is a penalty of Samson and Delilah hung at the tavern where Arabella and Jude have drank during their first outing. The story of Samson and Delilah is one which a woman tricks a woman who loves her into telling her the secret of his superhuman strength. The situational irony is not that in their wedding night, but astonished to discover that Arabella's hair is not all hers. Birds. Birds are the opposite of Gens. They show happiness and freedom. When the young Phillotson leaves Mary Green, he tells Jude to be kind to birds and animals. Jude pities the crows and allows them to eat farmer seeds. The raven is a symbol of death, maybe a symbol of rebellion for the young. So that's all in this video. Hope you guys understand it very well. And guys, if you like my video, please subscribe my channel and share my video with your friends also. So see you in the next video. Allah Hafiz.